Hi, we're going to talk about comparing and ordering decimal numbers. So in other words, might be some whole numbers, but then there are little pieces, which are what we are learning are called decimals. Students of Ms. Riley's, Ms. Kiger's, and Ms. Scott's, some of you are going to get this intuitively and not need a whole lot of instruction on this. Others, it's going to take a while, and it might not make a lot of sense right now, but down the road it'll click. So until then, let's just go through some breakdown. These are types of problems that you very likely might see on an SOL at the end of the year. And the SOL is going to be on the computer. Remember though that on the computer you do have a tool that you can cross things out. You can also highlight. We also, though, do a lot of work on paper. So let's look at this one, circle all the true statements. So this is just comparing greater than, less than, or equal. So seems fairly simple, right? The students, of course, as you probably guessed, get tripped up when there are a lot more digits on one side than the other because it automatically looks at first glance like, oh, this one must be larger because there are more digits. Look, there's this, 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 and this. This one only has 4 digits. But of course, we're working with decimals. So with decimals, we've got to remember that the pieces on the other side of the decimal are just teeny little pieces of a whole. As we talked about in the previous video or a previous video, this one, right, this place is called the tenths place. You can think of it as the dimes place if that helps some students. This is called the hundredths place. You can think of it as the cents place. And this is called the thousandths place. And you can think of it as an imaginary little coin, or not physically little, but an imaginary coin with a value that is even smaller than a penny. It's almost worthless. Like, who cares about it? So we have to remember that these little guys over here, even if we've got a lot of them, they don't count. We always got to look at our quote-unquote bigger guys first. So let's look at our whole numbers. 16 compared to 16, that's equal, right? Okay, let's go to the tenths place. Oh, and what you can do, what you should do, bad teacher, Ms. Scott. All right, what you should do is once you've looked at numbers, cross them out. So you could do this on the computer screen. Cross out 16, cancels out 16. 0, 0. Now we've got a 2 to a 4. And sometimes we use the term battling. All right, so we've got a 2 in the hundredths place and a 4 in the hundredths place. This guy's definitely bigger, so I'm going to circle him. Now let's see if the sign makes sense. Is the sign pointing? Yep. You remember the alligator? The sign is eating the larger number. So this one is correct, so I would circle it. Go to the next one. 11 to 11. Those are the whole numbers. Now let's go to beyond the whole numbers. 0 to 0. 2 to 2. Oh, 0 to nothing. Oh, well, that's equal. Oh, it's equal, so that's also correct. Okay, let's see this one. 4 to 4. 0 to 0. 6 to 5. Oh, that's bigger. Hey, it's another true one. And so on. And when you find one that's not correct, you should put an X over it. Let's look at this type of problem. This type of problem you're not going to want to do on the screen. This type of problem, we say you got to go to the paper, kids. We're going to copy all these numbers, and we're going to copy them very carefully, making sure not to move the decimal point. That sounds, so let's start copying them. 1, decimal 0, 1. And I tell the kids that I say it out loud, 1.01, 1.01. The next one is 10.1. Okay, so this is where we're going to fill in our decimal points first. And now sometimes the kids, well, I'll skip all that. This is just what you want to do. You want to put all your decimal points in first. And I know we're going to need another one, so I'll put that there later. And then fill in the number exactly as it is. So that's a 10 and a 1 on that side, okay? Believe it or not, this actually is not so simple for the kids. So this sometimes needs practice because they do not like the idea of, you know, look at this. We're not lining the numbers up either by this side or by this side, and that does not feel right. So they will frequently want to shove these digits over and move the decimal over. So, or let's say they put the decimals in, they'll take, I don't even remember right now, but they will do something else to make these line up. So this is sort of, believe it or not, difficult teaching the kids. Just do it. So 1.101, 1.101. I'm going to check because that was a long number. Okay, that's correct. You'll notice that there's a rhythm in my voice. I teach the kids to do that. 1.11, 1.11. All right, so now we've got what the kids do not like. All these different numbers. They're very similar, very easy to make a mistake. For the kids who have difficulty transferring numbers and copying, they're going to want to check their number after each one that they copy. All right, so what do? The rule is copy them down. Fill in all the blanks so we have nice even box. So I'm going to fill in zeros here. I'm going to fill in zeros here. I'm going to fill in zeros here. Just like with whole numbers, our rule is that we start with our largest player. So forgive the fighting analogy, but you could say you're sending out your largest, toughest player to battle first, which would be, the tens place. It's this guy. Okay, this one wins, clearly. Okay, so we're gonna put out our spaces. How many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 numbers that we're going to be arranging in order. What are we doing? Least to greatest. So I'm going to put an L here and a G here because we're going from least to greatest. If we were doing greatest to least, I would simply put the G here and an arrow and the least. So whichever one it is, that determines which way I point my arrow, okay? I'm sorry, not which way I point my arrow, it determines which letter goes here. The arrow is always going this way. I'm glad I made that mistake actually so that I could point that out. Okay, he, quote unquote, he wins. Okay, so he is the greatest. So I'm going to stick him right here in the greatest spot. And now I'm not going to put one digit in each square, just going to write it out. And it's okay if you put in the zeros because I know the student will be working with just pencil, not all these different colors. All right, he's out of there, kicking up his feet, watching the rest of the play. All right, 1, 1, 1. Oh, tie. Oh, 0, 1, 1, 1. Oh, we don't have a winner because these three are all winners, but we do have a loser. Wah, wah, wah. This guy, he's the loser. So we can fill him in the loser spot down here. I know I'm running out of space. Okay, so 1.01. We fill him in the least spot. 1.01. Cross him out. He is now watching the rest of the game. All right, 1, 1, 1. 0, 0, 1. Ooh, we have a winner. 1 beats 0 and 0. All right, so this guy, he's the winner, so we put him on this end, the one closest, the next spot. Aha, and this is the same way that we compare whole numbers, okay? The same thing, put your spaces, battle each line, come on down. All right, what were we? Aha, he's the one who won, 1.11. Say it out loud, 1.11, great. He's out of there. All right, now let's go see these two. Who's winning? Okay, 0 battles 0, nothing. 0 battles 1. 1, he's the winner. Okay, so this guy is the next biggest, so we're going to stick him on this side. 1.101. 1.101. Again, doing the rhythm on purpose. So that means this one's left. There we have all of our numbers. This is least to greatest, and now we just see which one does it match. 1.01, 1.01. Oh, well, A is the only one, so I hope we didn't make a mistake and that the rest of these match up. 1.1, 1.01, 1. This to this. Super, yay, and that is our choice. And on the next video, I'm going to show you a different way. I think it's a little bit quicker. I think it's a little bit more real life, but on the other hand, this way is tried and true. This way will not steer you wrong. It's a lot of steps, but this might be the way that your student needs right now. All right.